Take a look at the rest of the West, what those other three dweebs are up to. And, the rest of the West, the NFC West in general, is an interesting division, and it's kind of difficult to predict games in this division right now because obviously a lot of people were picking the Rams last week to beat the Titans. A lot of people were picking the Niners to defeat the Arizona Cardinals, and, things happen. It's kind of a crazy bananas week. We go all over the place all the time, especially the NFC West. And speaking of the Seattle Seahawks, they are off a bye week, so they did not play last week. They did announce, though, that Russ will be ready to play in Week 10. And this is a big game for the Seattle Seahawks because they are at the Green Bay Packers. This game's at 1:25 p.m. Pacific time on CBS. And going to the Green Bay Packers, who are in the news for quite a lot of things right now. Nothing that I'll comment on because, unfortunately, it's all political now. And I hate that. And so anything you say, it's just a political comment, I guess. I don't know why. But we'll see if Aaron Rodgers is back for that game because there is conversations that he may not be ready for that one. So we were very close to seeing a Geno Smith versus Jordan Love game. And now we don't even know if we're going to get Russell Wilson versus Aaron Rodgers. So it's kind of all over the place right now. I'll be honest with you guys. I think that they set up Jordan Love to fail miserably. Those play calls were an absolute joke. He barely had anybody open to throw to. They were not running the football nearly as much as they should have, especially in that situation. On the road in a hostile environment, they weren't trying to run the ball. They also were calling just weird pass plays where you're like, what was LaFleur doing? Cram it up your cram hole, LaFleur. Come on, man. What are you doing out here? But hey, either way, I'm not sad that an NFC team lost, especially because our boys lost last week, so we stay right in line with the Green Bay Packers. So that doesn't hurt my feelings there. But this game, Seattle Seahawks at the Green Bay Packers, should be an interesting one. I have a hard time picking that game, though, before I know a little bit more about the quarterback situation on either side. So this next game here, we had the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers play in a game, and I want to take this one because we always do it different teams. Like, we always go team by team. So I'm actually going to do this 2 times, but in different versions of it, okay? So the Arizona Cardinals defeated the San Francisco 49ers 31-17. Colt McCoy, he filled in strong for Kyler Murray, 22 of 26, 249, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. James Conner showed up after that Chase Edmonds injury and just exploded. Had 21 carries for 96 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. This week, the Arizona Cardinals are hosting the Carolina Panthers, who will be without Sam Darnold. He's got a small fracture in what sounds like his shoulder blade, I believe is what I heard. So it's gonna be a PJ Walker, former Memphis Express quarterback, rocking it down for the Carolina Panthers in Arizona. That game kicks off at 1:05 p.m. Pacific time on Fox. On the other side, the San Francisco 49ers, they lose to the Arizona Cardinals 17-31. The lack of a run game forced San Francisco to really overuse Jimmy, and Jimmy Garoppolo should never have 40 passes in a game, but he went 28 of 40, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That George Kittle return was absolutely huge for the San Francisco 49ers, and he did end the day with 6 receptions for 101 yards and that Jimmy Garoppolo touchdown. What about the 49ers, though, is something that is coming up in conversation now is Kyle Shanahan and how warm his seat is, because obviously the Super Bowl year that they had where they were an awesome team, they played really well, and then they lose the Super Bowl, and also that was their only winning season under Kyle Shanahan. And for reference, Kyle Shanahan was hired as the Niners head coach the same year as Sean McVay was hired as the Rams head coach, so kind of going in different directions there. Everybody likes to compare them, though, because they both lost Super Bowls, and that's like a big deal, apparently. Everybody thinks that they're basically the same guy, but hey, Sean McVay has not had a losing season, and Shanahan has only had 1 winning season. So I think they're in a different situation, and I absolutely think that Shanahan's seat is heating up. CG Ruthless Sports, who I will be actually talking with, if you guys want to give him a sub, I'll be on his show on Thursday night talking about this upcoming matchup that we have. He says that he believes that Shanahan is actually safe for a couple more years, at least 1 more after this one. I tend to disagree. I think that team has been built fine by John Lynch, and I think that Kyle Shanahan is the one that's not doing a good job. They need a better training staff, and they need a better head coach. Simple as that. I mean, I hope that they don't do those things as the Rams fan here and would like to see them not do a good job, but Those are things that I think would greatly improve themselves, even as little as I want to see it. Week 10, though, it'll be the Los Angeles Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. This game kicks off at 5:15 p.m. Pacific time on Monday Night Football on ESPN. And I don't know if the Manning thing will be available for this one. I will not be watching that one for this one. I don't know what it is. I just need a normal broadcast. I like the Manning stuff, and I respect it, and I definitely understand why it's hugely popular and everybody's loving that. Not necessarily for me. I get it. I totally understand it. It's awesome. I love it. I'm a fan of it. Just not for me. I just want a normal broadcast. I think that the broadcast booth for Monday Night Football needs to be a lot stronger, but hey, I think that JB Long should do Monday Night Football, honestly. I think that JB Long should just be the Monday Night Football guy because he's awesome. He's the voice of the Rams. He does an amazing job. Let's take a look at the standings real fast. So we got the Arizona Cardinals at 8-1, sitting in first place. The LA Rams at 7-2 right behind them. And then if you pull out your binoculars, you can see those bottom teams there, the Seattle Seahawks and San Francisco 49ers sitting at 3-5. So this division obviously is tight at the top. It's tight at the bottom, but there is that gap in the middle there. And I feel pretty good about the Rams and Cardinals at least being 1-2, and then Seattle and San Fran sitting down there, splitting the 3-4. I don't know how that'll split. I do anticipate Seattle being the one that pulls ahead, though. So if I had to guess right now, it's hard to go against Arizona, but this is a Rams show, so I'm going to. We're gonna say I'm gonna guess Rams, Cards, Seahawks, Niners is what NFC West will end as. Well, let's take a look at the playoff picture right now, and the Arizona Cardinals sitting in that number 1 seed at 8-1. Green Bay Packers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Dallas Cowboys are all division leaders sitting right behind them there with just 2 losses for each of those teams. Also, another 2-loss team, the LA Rams, is your first wild card team sitting at the 5 seed, Saints at 6, and the 4-4 Atlanta Falcons currently sitting in that 7 seed as the last wild card team. So if you guys are keeping track, what would happen right now if the season were to end right now? The Rams would play at the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. It would be Saints at Bucks and then Falcons at the Green Bay Packers. You got the bubble teams there way off to the side, the Carolina Panthers, Minnesota Vikings, and then Seattle Seahawks and San Francisco 49ers are sitting there just that one game out, but I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure I believe that the 49ers can do it. The Seahawks, I think, can creep into that 7 seed, but, because I really don't trust the Panthers. I definitely don't trust the Vikings. Kirk Cousins is an absolute, I don't want to say he's an absolute joke, but that is what I want to say, but it's not what I want to say. Does that make any sense? I just don't trust him at all. I think that he shrinks in moments that are important. The second you need him to do something, he's going to not do something. You know what I mean? So it's just not good. And then the Carolina Panthers, they just seem to be having some issues with injuries. And also Sam Darnold is not who I thought he was. He's not. I thought he was going to do a lot better job in Carolina, leaving the New York Jets, being, freed from the grasp of the Adam Gase-led team, and he's just not getting it done. I don't know what it is. I think that maybe the Gase is still in him. So you got to get we need an exorcism or something to get that Gase mindset out of his brain or something, man. I don't know, man. It's a big head. Maybe it's just trapped in there deep. You know what I mean? So I'm not 100% sure, but I would tell you that all the best Rams fans make it all the way to the end of the video, but if you're watching this, you already knew that because you're in that group. So if you haven't already, on this side is going to be where you subscribe, and if you already liked this entire clip, which, again, if you're watching this part, I'm sure you did, the entire podcast is going to be on this side. Peace! Go Rams!